Chinta here with SS Multimedia. Today, we're going to be writing number sentences using pictures. Our objective is to learn how to write a number sentence using a picture. Let's get started. So first up, we have a problem right here. Alexa has 24 eggs. Each carton she has can only hold 6 eggs. How many cartons does she need to use for all the eggs? So, we know that Alexa has 24 eggs. We also know that each carton can hold 6 eggs. So we can think of this like putting in 6 rows because, 6 eggs, 6 rows. And then, since there's 24 and each row has to have an even number, we can do some multiplication. We know that if we had 2 eggs in each row, we would have 12 eggs in total. If we had 3 eggs in each row, we would have 18 eggs in total. If we had 4 eggs in each row, we would know that we had 24 eggs in total. That means that there's going to be 4 cartons we need to use, since 24 divided by 6 is 4. We can use a number sentence to show this because we know that there's 24 here, and then we also know that it's 6. And since we did multiplication right here, the inverse would be division. So we would write 24 divided by 6, which we just figured out is equal to 4, since the array right here showed us there's 4 right here and 6 over here. So let's do the next one. My garden has 10 plants. Each row has 5 plants. How many rows are there? So right here we know that there's going to be some amount of rows. We don't know how many rows, but there's going to be a certain number. We also know each row has 5 plants. So we can draw a picture each with 5 plants right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's one row. 1 times 5 is 5. So we know that this is only 5 plants and we need 10. If we add another row, we would get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. And then that would be 2 rows. 2 times 5 is 10, so we know that there's going to be 2 rows. But our question here is we need to write a number sentence here too. So since there's 10 plants, and each row has 5 plants, we can do 10 divided by 5, which we already figured out is equal to 2, like we showed right here. 10 divided by 5 is equal to 2. It's problem time. You're welcome to pause this video and try them on your own, but I'm going to be doing them too, so you can check your solutions. So Kyle is going to the market to sell his strawberries. He has 18 strawberries packed into 3 boxes. How many strawberries are in each box? So I'm going to use red because strawberries are kind of reddish, and I'm going to underline the important stuff. So we know that there's 18 strawberries right here. We also know that these 18 strawberries are packed into 3 boxes. So we need to figure out how many strawberries are in each box. So again, we can draw an array. We know that there's a total of 18 strawberries and they're put into 3 boxes. So we can think of it as rows and we can do 3 rows. And then if we add in another 3 to each row, another 1 to each row, then we would get 6 because there's 3 rows with 2 strawberries in them. If we added another 3, we would get 9 because there's 3 rows with 3 strawberries. If we added another 3, we would get 12 because there's 3 rows with 4 strawberries. If we added another row right here, we would get 15 because there's 3 rows of 5, but we're not there at 18 yet. If we added another 3, we would get 18, which is what we want, because there's 3 rows, each with 6 strawberries. So we're going to use this to write a division sentence. So we know that there's 18 strawberries, so we're going to write that right there. We also know that it's packed into 3 boxes, so we have 18 divided by 3, which is what we have here. And since we just solved it and figured out that there has to be 6 strawberries in each box, we know that 18 divided by 3 is 6, or 6 strawberries. We can write it out here. Always remember to label your answers, especially if it tells you to. This problem doesn't, but it's good to do so anyways. So here's our next one. Siri sees 15 birds flying in the sky. A little while later, they arrange into rows, each with 5 birds in them. How many rows are there? So we know that there's 15 birds in the sky. We also know that a little while later, they arrange into rows, each with 5 birds in them. So 5 birds is important because it has a number and it's related to the problem. We also need to figure out how many rows there are. So again, we're going to think of this in rows, but this time I'm going to start by putting 5 birds. So we know that this is one row with 5 birds, but we have to have 15, so that doesn't work. So I'm going to start another row right here because we need to figure out how many rows there are. So I added 5 more birds, and that's the second row, and that gives us 10. If we count them, we'll get 10 birds. So now add another row, and we're going to get 15 this time, because this is our third row, and 3 times 5 is 15. Can count to double check. So we know that there has to be 3 rows. So what we can do is we can do 15 divided by 5, because we need to write a division sentence to show this picture. So there's 15 birds, and then there's 5 birds in each row, so we can do 15 divided by 5, which we proved over here is equal to 3. So there's going to be a total of 3 rows. It's always good to double check your answers and multiply 5 times 3, which is 15, and that proves that it's right. If we got perhaps 6 rows, we could do 6 times 5, which is 30, and 30 is not equal to 15. So we know that we did something wrong somewhere. So we're going to do another problem here. This one has some CDs. So the CD store has some CDs on sale. Each CD costs $5, and the store expects to make $20 off of them. How many CDs are there? So we can also use rows for this. For any problem similar to this, we can use the array method. So they're not always going to say rows, so you have to make sure that you read the problem carefully and figure out the important stuff. So we know that the CD store has some CDs on sale. That doesn't tell us how many. We know that each CD costs $5, and we also know the store expects to make $20 off of them. So we need to figure out how many CDs there are. So we know that there's going to be a total of $20, and we know that each CD costs $5. So what we can do is we can represent one CD with $5. This is one CD that has $5. So this is one row, and it represents one CD, and we can pretend these are dollars. So one CD is equal to $5. If we start a second CD, we would add another $5, and that would give us $10 in total. Then we can add another CD, and then we would get 15. You can count them to make sure. We would get $15, but that's not 20. So we have to add another row, and then we would get $20, because we have a total of 20, and each CD costs $5. So we would do 20 divided by 5, which over here we showed is equal to 4. 4 CDs. So we know that there's a grand total of 4 CDs that are on sale. Here's our next problem. My family and I love to eat oranges. Since we love them so much, my dad brings home 12 oranges a day for the 4 members of my family to eat. How many oranges do we each get? So we know that this family loves to eat oranges, but that's not what we're going to use to solve our problem. We know that the dad brings home 12 oranges a day, and that there's 4 members in the family. And we need to figure out how many oranges each member gets. To do that, we can start an array. So we know that there's going to be 4 rows because there's 4 family members, and they each eat the same amount of oranges. So we need to find out how we can get 12 using these 4 members. So if we add another one, because each family member gets 1, this is what it shows right here. So if we add another one, give them another one, then they would have 2. Then we can add this together and we would get 8. So we know that if there's 2 oranges given to each member, there would be a total of 8 oranges being eaten. So now we're going to add another one, and then we would find out that since there's 4 members, they each get 3, there's a total of 12 oranges, which is how many the dad brought home. So they each get 3 oranges. But we still need to write a division sentence. So right here we have 12 oranges. That we know that we need to divide it evenly among these 4 people. It would be 12 divided by 4, and then as we proved over here, it's 3. Each member gets 3 oranges. So I'm labeling my answer again because it's always great to get in the habit of that. So here we have our final problem, which involves pens. So I have 22 pens that I want to distribute. Distribute kind of means give out into 2 pencil cases. How many pens are in each case? So again, you can draw a pencil case if you want, but I find it easier to draw them out in rows like an array. So here are our 2 pencil cases. This is pencil case 1 and pencil case 2. So we need to split 22 pencils into 2 cases. So how do we do that? We simply keep adding 1. If we add 2 pens in each case, we get 4, 3 pens is 6, 4 pens is 8, 5 pens is 10, 6 pens is 12, 7 pens is 14, 8 pens is 16, 9 pens is 18, 10 pens is 20, 11 pens is 22. That's what we needed because there's 22 pens in total. So we just proved that there's 11 pens in each case, but we still need to write an equation. So we can do 22, because that's a number that's being distributed into 2 cases because we are distributing it into 2 pencil cases. And as we proved up here with this diagram, that's equal to 11. So we know that there's 11 pens in each case. I hope you enjoyed this video,